What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV with your host here, Dano, giving you guys the best content on the internet. If you watch for 10 minutes, I guarantee you're going to stay for the entire episode because we have Chris Collins II here, and he's about to give you guys some gold bars that you can take into your everyday life so we can achieve some happiness all together. So, Chris, what do you have to say to everybody before we get started?
Peace and blessings, Dose of Dano family.
That's what I'm talking about. So there it is, everybody. Don't go anywhere. Like, share, do whatever you got to do to raise your vibrations because it's time for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Let's get it, everybody. So, man, I'm super excited to be here because my positivity posse already knows there's nowhere else that I would rather be in the world on a Thursday at 6 o'clock, rather here than with you guys. Always coming in, supporting, commenting, sharing your stories, strategies, everything, man. I love you guys so much. And thank you again for being here for today. Chris Collins, like I told you, he's about the second. Let me, because there is a Chris Collins Sr., but Chris Collins the second, man, he's about to drop some golden nuggets. So grab your notebooks, grab your pens, because it's time for another episode, and it's going to be a great one as well. So just to give you guys some updates, season 4 is coming out, I think, in about 2 weeks, if I remember correctly, because I think 2 weeks is the first Thursday of July, and the year's been just absolutely been breezing by. But like I said, I'm going to bring you guys some new content. There's going to be new format. We're going to have a new studio as well, just to give you guys excited for that. So be on the lookout for season 4. We're going to have some not wild guests. I don't want to call them wild because they're not wild. I mean, depending on their story, I guess you never know. But we're going to have some high caliber guests coming on. We are doing everything here on Weekly Dose of Dano. We're taking it a step above, and we're giving you guys the best content possible. Like I said, there's going to be new segments, higher caliber guests, new setup, there's going to be a new book. I still got to find the book. So if you have any recommendations on something that I might need to share with you guys, just to give some positive tips for, mindset, happiness, an abundance of money, whatever it is, let me know the book so I can look into it, and that might be chosen here on Weekly Dose of Dano TV. So everybody, like I said, we have a ton to talk about with Chris, because if you guys didn't know, I guess if you didn't read the bio, he created his own children's book. He is the chief deputy, chief deputy editor of the Anointed News Journal. He sits on the board of a great nonprofit organization. So much to talk about. So let's get right into it. Let's get started. So we're going to open up to the affirmation for today, because there's not too many, we're not going to be using this book for much longer, which I'm kind of sad about, but you got to let go of the old to bring in the new, right? You're just making space for the great things. So let's see. We're gonna open up to a random page because it's never really random. It's always in alignment with everything that we're gonna be talking about for today. So it's just amazing to see how it always comes into to connection. Let's see. All right, we're gonna do this one. Number 142. Connection is my key to fulfillment. I make it a point to connect with myself and others to support my joy and contentment. Connection with myself is the right people. Connection with myself and the right people brings so much richness to my life. I'm thankful for all my valuable connections and will keep nurturing them with love. So there it is for you guys. Connection is my key to fulfillment. And I really love that one because I know with meditation, I talk about it every single week here on Weekly Dose of Dano TV, but you got to get connected to, whether it's a being that's higher than you, whether you consider it God or the universe, whatever it is. When you have that time for meditation, that's when you are, able to connect into yourself, deeper at a higher vibration. And then, what that's linked to, we're all linked to source anyway. So, I mean, it's a great, great thing. And like I said, I'm always going to be talking about meditation with you guys because if you do it, then you know how amazing it is. And if you don't do it, then you're missing out on the best thing in the world. That is probably if I had to give one life-changing tip, I think it would be meditation. Just make sure that you meditate every day. Whether that's just listening to a fan that's going on for about 10 minutes, start out with 10 minutes and then grow it to at least 30. I do it for about 25 on average. I don't go past an hour. I know people that actually do it for an hour, but I think that might be a little bit too much for me. But who knows? Maybe with enough practice, we'll get there. But like I said, with meditation, you are connecting within yourself, connected to the higher power, and then you'll have the wisdom and the energy and everything that you're going to need in order to get through whatever it is that you're going through, or to bring something into this earth, right? If you want to start your own business and you don't have a great business idea, the answer is within inside of you, and the answer is within the stillness as well. So make sure, like I said, you are getting connected just so we take that time for ourselves. And like I said, there's a myriad and a plethora of all these different benefits that come with meditation. But there it is. That's what the book has spoken. The affirmation for today has spoken. So everybody, please. Oh, wait, my guy. Thank you, Lou, for dropping the hashtag positivity posse. I appreciate it. This is you guys are always coming in strong, man, every single week. And I thank you guys so much for it. So without further ado, it's time to bring Christopher Collins II onto the show because he's about to hit you guys with some gold bars that we're known for here on Weekly Dose of Dano TV. So put some hearts, put some likes, whatever you got to do to welcome Christopher Collins to come on the show. Chris, what are you doing, man? Stop editing the Anointed News Journal. It's time to get on the show. Chris, how you feeling today, man?
Hey, Dano, how are you? Good. I'm doing good. Amazing. And that opening was amazing. Your opening trailer and at the beginning of the show, that was amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you. You know all about that because you are in the digital services as well. So I know that you can appreciate all the hard work and time that goes into it because I think a lot of people don't really know. They only see, if somebody's building a house, they only see the finished product. They don't see the effort that it goes into it. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it, man. So like I said, we have so much to talk about today because you have lived such a great life with so many different lessons and experiences. And I don't think we need to hear about it here on Weekly Dose. And you got to share it with my positivity posse. So we're going to start with the children's book. And I know that even with the videos that I created, I know that wasn't an easy feat as well, an easy accomplishment. So talk about what really inspired you to create a children's book and what is the book about?
Yeah, so what inspired me to create a children's book was, firstly, I was looking for an entrepreneur endeavor. So at the time in my life, I was still at a 9-to-5 corporate job, and I was just trying to figure out just more to life type of thing. But when I came across, that was my first entrepreneur endeavor, the children's book. And I just ended up, once I knew I was going to do it, I took a course on it. I was just like, all right, let's go through the steps. I went on Fiverr.com, and there's a whole bunch of freelancers on there to do digital products. And I was able to find a great illustrator in the Philippines. And from there, I just went through the whole process of taking it step by step to get the illustrations done. far as writing it, it only took me, being as it was a children's book and it's short, it only took me like 45 minutes to actually write it. Um, but it's about family. So it's called Chris's Family Celebration. And it was really just about, I have and had an amazing family growing up, huge family. So I just wanted to highlight all the joys that a kid can have spending time with their family.
100%. And I know there's countless ones, right? I think we can all, if we go back in our minds, either whether it's deep in there or it's at the forefront, we can all think about a great time. I know one of the things that growing up for me was the shore trips, going down the shore every summer with my mom and my brother. And I know like those are some of the things that you'll just never forget about. And for the people out there,
Mhm.
always spend time with your kids. I know we live in a digital society right now, but those are the times that they'll cherish forever, and they kind of just make up who they are as a person. And when they thinking the happy thoughts, we're elevating and we're vibrating at a high level, and that's just what we're going to attract into our life. So it's very important, and thank you for that as well. But I kind of want to touch on what you just said about the 9 to 5, how you did go from a 9 to 5 to being an entrepreneur. I actually took that step in my life last year, and I was so scared, man. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how it was going to come about. But talk about what
Mhm.
gave you the courage to be able to make that step and that leap of faith, if you want to say it that
Yeah.
way.
Um, well, I think, we love, a lot of us love watching the Marvel movies, the superhero movies, those moments, your favorite athletes when you have to make those come from behind victories and things like that. So when it came to leaving my 9 to 5, I really was just tired of the way life was going, and I was just looking for a change. Um, so from that, I ended up, I was just like, one of the big decisions was I talked to my brother who he was living in LA trying to become an actor. He was really doing his dream. Then I watched one of the Rocky movies. Rocky 2 specifically was what I was watching at the time. And once again, Rocky's another one of those movies that gets your blood going and gets you hyped up and gets the emotions going. And I just made a decision at that point to take a step and just quit my job, and start working on my entrepreneur things. Yeah, it just that deep passion, and as scary and as brave as the decision was, it was just more so like just couldn't do. It wasn't even as hard because at that point I just couldn't do the former lifestyle anymore. Just couldn't do it anymore. So
100.
it
Yeah,
actually made the decision easier.
100%, man. And if there's anybody that's watching right now that is probably going through the same thing or they're about to take that leap of faith, don't be scared. Don't get cold feet. I mean, if you weren't so sure about it, I mean, well, let's talk about fear for a little bit, right? If you weren't fearful about the thing working out, then that just means that you care about it. And that means that there's a lot of reward for you to reap. And that's probably why, you're feeling that way. And, it's not going to go wrong if you have the proper planning and you have the proper belief in yourself. And like I said earlier, with the higher beings and the higher powers, with God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, you will be okay. It's all going to work out. It's just about how you're going about the situation. Because if you're fearful of it and having a lot of fear that this is going to go wrong and this is going to go wrong, well, guess what? That's what you're attracting into your life. So that's what's going to go wrong.
Mhm.
So I thank you for sharing that as well. And it's we're always getting signs, like you said. Yours was through movies. I think mine was through people. I had a lot of people just say, I'll share with you a quick story. Before I made that decision last year, there was a guy who used to work at the same place that I was at, and he hadn't worked there for about a year. And the guy was very well off, so he comes back into the restaurant and he's sitting at the bar. And I go over to him, I say hi, hello, and he looks at me. He goes, "What are you still doing here? Like, I know you have so many different projects and things that you have going on, but why are you still here?" And that was kind of a more, in my face, like, damn, that hit kind of hard. He was right. So that was
Yeah.
kind of my awakening and hearing it from different people. But you know, Chris, has everything been successful, and did it work out the way that you think it was going to work out when you decided to pursue your dream?
Well, it's still a journey, but yeah, things do work now. They don't work maybe how you think they will, or the magnitude sometimes. Like I was hoping, oh, my book would be a New York Times bestseller and maybe it would make me 5K a month and different things. It hasn't done that, but at the same time, it's made me 5K total over 7 years. So it does work. Things do happen where blessings happen and things come up. So that's the book. I'm sorry about your question. You said, so yeah. So since then, after the book, then I took another course, social media marketing agency, got a few clients there. And then now I'm in a process of building a photography and videography business. And I guess what's cool about that is when sometimes people say be careful. Well, they say be careful who you share your dream with. But I noticed when you do share your dream with certain people, they actually want to help. So when I kept talking about videography more, I actually my future brother-in-law actually ended up giving me a $900 camera that he was just not using, because he's the type of videographer that'll probably be on the scenes of like a legit movie one day. And he was just like, hey, yeah, I got this old camera I'm not using. It's a 4K camera, all that. So when you really want something, you start letting people know, just they want to help. And I got all this free gear that I did not pay for. How's that for a story? Thousands of dollars worth of tech gear that people just gave me.
Man, and that's what I'm talking about too. Like, you were just so passionate about it and focused on it, and look at all the great things that happen. I think, we tend to think about the things that can go wrong, but in your case, you're like, okay, what can go right? And then you selectively shared that dream with people that you knew would be supportive, and look at that too. I think a lot of people, they get scared, and it's like, no, don't be scared. I mean, obviously, yes, the stakes are higher, and the reason that you're doing it is to, make money or to get more fame or whatever it is, but just make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. And I kind of wanted to touch on one more thing as well, which, when you go to start whatever business or entrepreneurial endeavor that you're going to go start, it's always not going to be rainbows and sunshines and butterflies, obviously, but the people that you're going to think that'll be there to support you will probably not be there from the beginning. Because I know with me, there's there's friends who are like, yeah, man, I got you. And, I'm going to do XYZ for you. And it just never happens. So it's like, I'm just so happy that you shared that, because there's two sides of the coin. And when we always focus on the positive side of everything, we know that things are just, they're going to work out no matter what. And nobody can really get in the way of that. And I want to talk about your shirt for a little bit. It says wisdom on there. What's your favorite quote or favorite piece of wisdom that somebody, that you want to share with somebody, the Positivity Posse, right now?
I'm trying to see if I have one off the top of my head, but a famous wisdom quote. Ooh, you put me on the spot. Let me see.
It doesn't have to be famous. It could just be one that sticks out to you.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I'll say a quote that so in school, I think it was I want to say it was Franklin D. Roosevelt. That quote, "There's nothing to fear but fear itself." Never understood that, until I was an adult. And I'm like, wait, there's nothing to fear but fear, because if you're fearing, fear is the only thing that's going to keep you from moving. So there's nothing to fear but fear, so if you get rid of your fears, move past that, I mean, nothing's going to stop you, because fear can really paralyze you.
Yeah, it's true. And the only thing that you're fearing is that, like, you're just making that stuff up in your head, because I know that when you go about doing whatever it is that you're doing, those things that you're so scared of is not really going to happen that way. Like, yes, you might not receive that initial amount of money that you want to get right away, or, that, agency that wants to reach out to you if you're an actor is not going to reach out right away. But that's all right, because it's leading you down the path that you need to go down. And, it's like what they say, when God closes one door, he opens 10 other up. So it's not like you're ever going to go without. And there's no reason to think from a lack mindset or a scarcity mindset. Think about it from an abundance mindset. All right, well, that thing didn't work out, but I have so many other things to choose from as well. I just want to talk about this comment, taking a small time out from David's graduation. He graduated already. Wow. Congratulations to him. And that's a big achievement as well. So thank you for the shout out. I really appreciate that. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. 1000%, man. And thank you for sharing that as well. Cause I know a lot of people, we can start to live in a fearful society, whether it's like, the media or our own family members or whatever it may be. Just you got to try to filter that out and just bet on yourself every single time, because you've read and you've seen so many other stories about other people who got whatever it is that they dreamt about. And if they can do it, then you can do it too. The only difference is the way that we think about those situations and our mindset as well. So I just want to share one quick wisdom piece, because it's coming up right now for some reason. My biggest, it's
Okay.
gonna sound so childish, and I guess but here it is. What is it? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. Right? I think we all know about that piece of wisdom right there, and it's real childish, but
Mm-hmm.
the fact and the messaging behind it is so true. Just stop worrying about what other people think.
Yeah.
If people say some bad things, just let it roll off your skin, just like some waterproof, water or whatever it is. Just keep going forward, man. All right, so now we're gonna go about purpose. We're gonna talk a little bit about purpose, because I feel like that word just in itself can be a little intimidating. And when you sent me your bio, you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that you wanted to follow your purpose in life. Um, have you
Mm-hmm.
how have you been discovering your purpose, and have you found it yet?
Well, so I'm, as I told you, I'm a big person of faith. So obviously it starts with my relationship with God as far as purpose. But like you said, it's such a big word, because even individually, you're like, okay, well, yeah, well, God, what do you want me to do? So he's still in the same situation of like, all right, I know you have something for me. I believe in you, but now what do you have for me to do? So in terms of getting my purpose, I really just really digging deeper. I think like I told you, making that decision to um leave my job. I think I started looking at gifting and interests. What am I gifted at? What are my interests? I think a lot of motivational speakers helped it. I mean, one segment I always enjoyed looking at was or listening to Steve Harvey in the morning, his radio
Hmm.
show. 6 a.m., his first 12 minutes are all inspiration. All he does is talk to you about a topic or a testimony about his life. So between that, I mean, Eric Thomas, all those online motivational speakers, and from there, it just got into a point where you're ready to make moves that are you already have in your heart, So you already have those things in your heart, and then you're just ready to make the moves. Of course, I read more scripture in the Bible, and then little by little, once again, just seeking wise counsel, you've and just trying things, you end up finding what you want to do. And now more than ever, I feel like I'm stepping into my purpose, or I at least identified my lane. Like, okay, I know what I'm going to do, and I'm licking my chops. Like, hey, I'm ready to start getting into it.
Yeah, I feel that you're ready to start getting after it, man. And that when you have that feeling and that drive, you just got to go with it, and then you'll figure it out along the way. Because I know for me, I kind of used to have this thing where still kind of have it, where it's called paralysis by analysis, where I wanted to map out and
Mm-hmm.
plan every single thing. And then since I have that, I don't know where to do, or I'm doing too much research on it, then I just freeze up. And man, I know when you have that drive, just keep going, because that's when you're queued up for the thing that you want the most, and then you have the most amount of energy and drive for it. So I really love to hear that you're in that stage right now in your life, and you're just gonna make it happen. So you were just talking about faith and how it's very important to you, which it is for everybody as well who believes in a faith. But can you tell us about a story or maybe a time in your life where you just wanted to give up, and you were just about to be on that brink of giving up, or things weren't going your way, and how
Mm-hmm.
faith really propelled you to keep going and push you forward along in your journey?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there was a lot of times just in adulthood where I was always felt either rock bottom or stuck in a rut. Um, I think I remember uh, also one particular time in my marriage when I early on when I thought it was going to like end and everything at that, a relationship with someone else can really put you down in the dumps if it doesn't work out. So at one point in my marriage, didn't think we were going to make it, and at that point, I remember trying to just, I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just going to live reckless. I don't care anymore type of thing. And nothing, basically whatever I was trying to do just never worked out. Like, to the point where at that point, God was like, no, I'm going to keep you in the palm of my hand. Let you have your fits right now, but I'm going to keep you safe and protect you because you've made wise decisions all your life. And I'm going to help you during this tough time. So that was a time where I look back where I'm like, wow, God really protected me when I was not protecting of myself for, several weeks where I just didn't really care about what was going on in life anymore.
Man, and that stuff is very powerful too, because a lot of people don't see it while we're going through it. They say that hindsight's 20/20, and when you look back on everything, and I know when I look back on everything in my life, you're so right, man. He's always been there. He's always going to protect us no matter what. So just always, you got to believe and do everything that you got to do to just put your trust in him and believe in his plan, because nothing happens for coincidence and nothing happens by accident, right? Everything is meant to happen into our lives. And that's for all the good thing, all the good, good things that happen to our life and all the bad things that happen in our life as well. It's all meant to serve us. And when you understand that it's all has a purpose and it's all meant to get you to where you need to go, you can just go through anything and you'll understand that, hey, this needed to happen the way that it needed to happen in order to receive that abundance of money or that job opportunity that you wanted, or like you said, that significant other that you've always wanted. Think about it. If for not you in particular, but if somebody right now just got through a breakup, it's just leaving room for that person that needs to be there in their life right now and is going to be in your life, for your future wife, future husband, or whatever, you prefer. Just always understand that there's a purpose behind everything and it's always going to work out for you as well. So we're actually halfway through the episode. We're just going to play a quick commercial break from our sponsor. Go ahead. What are you going to say before we get to that?
I was just saying, and the good thing about that is, since my wife and I, we got our relationship on track since then, we've been able to help other people with their marriages, so it's been a good thing.
And like you said, well, earlier we were talking about wisdom and it's on your shirt right now, but I think sometimes the best wisdom that we can get is through experience and not just reading through something, right? I mean, let's be honest. Do you think that if you would have read about what you went through in a book, or, you saw it on social media or wherever you saw it, do you think it would have resonated the same way of actually going through it?
Well, yeah, definitely, going through it is the best, you feel it at the core, so you can't get better than that.
Yeah, 100%. So it's like,
it helps when someone close to you,
Yeah, and I agree with that.
I'm good. Just someone close to you as well. Yeah.
We're going to be talking about that because you said you've been married for 11 years, and even just hearing that, we're going to be talking about the secret sauce and what the secret is in order to have, a marriage that's really successful and lasted a lot long. But we're just going to play a quick word from our sponsors. Thank you for sponsoring the Weekly Dose of Dano platform, because with you, this is all possible. So don't go anywhere. Like, share, do whatever you have to do to raise your vibrations, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Let's get it, everybody.
Basically, it's about keeping our families together.
God bless this organization.
Everybody, that was just a quick word from our sponsors. Thank you again to our sponsors for making this all happen, to support the Positivity Posse, Chris Collins, and myself, to make this all possible and to throw our good vibrations into the universe, because we know we're just going to receive those same great vibrations right back tenfold. So thank you so much. And Chris, man, like I said, when I first saw in your bio that you said you were married for 11 years, that kind of blew my mind, because you don't really hear about those kind of success stories nowadays, especially in the digital world where, to be honest, it's real easy to cheat or have that lust factor by looking at different things on the internet. And, it's really hard to kind of accomplish that nowadays. So what's been your secret, or what advice do you have to give to somebody in order to sustain such a long, successful marriage?
I will say, just like where you were talking about with the children's tell thing, which was like, really go back to the fundamentals. Like when you talk about, my wife and I were laughing the other day and was like, hey, just be nice to the person. Tell them you like them, give them hugs, give them kisses. Like you think about it, like that sounds so like elementary, but like you think about it, the more you see a lot of adults be in relationships with people, the more you see no romance, they don't go on dates anymore. There's all these things they're not doing, and it's like, now granted, they're not doing it because there's something emotionally missing, but it's just like, it's just some of the fundamentals. And then another thing is we spend time growing our relationship, like not only with those fundamentals of going on dates and talking and things like that, being actual best friends, but also like reading marriage books together. Actually, here's one right here. I'll bring it up. Right here, relationship goals, Michael Todd. So like we always have, and even now with our church, we're in a marriage ministry where every other Wednesday we're meeting with other married couples and we're all going over a study about relationships. It could be kingdom marriage. It could be a heart and soul of marriage. It could be 5 steps to romantic love. So when we continue to get all these tools that help us with our relationship, we're constantly working on it, even when nothing's wrong. Same thing. You figure like with your car, you go, you get the oil change before, anything's wrong. You're just doing all the maintenance you need to do. You're taking it to the car wash. I think a car example is a great way of seeing how your relationship would be. You don't even have to wash your car for it to be dirty. It's like, hey, it's been a week. I'm gonna go wash my car. So
Yeah, 100%.
Those are some of the secret sauce.
100%, man. And thank you for sharing that too. Cause I feel like, when you go back to the fundamentals, they always teach you whatever it is that you're learning in the beginning, the fundamentals, because those are the most important things, right? I know, I don't know if you're into basketball, but Nikola Jokic, let's just take him for example. He's an NBA champion. He just does all the fundamentals correct. And that's why he's such a great player. He passes on a double team, or he's always looking for the open man, or if he's going to drive, everything's just so technical. You can make the same case about, Tim Duncan. And I was actually going to, martial arts. I was doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu for a little bit. And the guy that was the instructor was just saying, you have to master the basics in order to be able to do anything else. But it's like you said, when you go back to the basics of everything, those are the most important lessons that you're going to learn in the beginning. And those are the foundational pieces. And think of like a building, right? If a building doesn't have a good foundation, what is it going to do? It's going to fall because it's not sturdy. Obviously I'm not a contractor or anything, but I think we all know what happens when a building isn't secure, right? So thank you for dropping that too, man. And I know, like I said, it's kind of hard nowadays for everybody to just have that commitment, because there's just so many different distractions that are out there in the world. So thank you so much for dropping that as well. And we're gonna move fast forward a little, well, not fast forward, but we're gonna change gears a little bit and talk about the Anointing News Journal that you have. This is a newspaper that you have in the Camden City area and surrounding areas. But talk about what the Anointed News Journal is and how has it changed your life?
Yeah, so Anointed News Journal is something that my father started almost 30 years ago in 1995. And just making a newspaper. I don't really know what inspired him, but he just felt like that was his calling, there was a scripture that he used. I think it was Habakkuk 2:2 that said, write a vision, make it plain, and wait on it for it will surely happen, basically. And so for some reason he felt moved to do this newspaper, and he did it, and he had a lot of tough times, but he was able to eventually become successful. Even when people told him get a real job, all those different things. And so it started off as faith-based, but now it's like it's still we talk about faith, but it's just faith-based education. We say positive politics, healthcare, just good community news. We don't put like controversial things in the paper or kind of slamming people down. Like we're just trying to build like a very positive newspaper, especially and talk positive about Camden as well. It's been life-changing for me to come on board with my dad, learn a lot more about Camden as well as an adult, and just it's different from my childhood, but really knowing all the positive things that are going in. So when people really hear Camden on the outside looking in, they don't realize how many good things are going on, but we highlight that.
100%, man. And I know, like you said, growing up, it was always every time you turned on the news or read it in the paper, it's always something negative. So thank you so much for giving these, even me, everybody in the Kansas City area, a positive platform to get, kind of a spotlight and extra clout for whatever great things that they have going on. And I'm claiming right now, man, I'm trying to get that front page spread on there because I know it's just such a great thing that you're doing. And I really want to be a part of that. And thank you so much for that as well. Cause I know there's a little bit behind the scenes stuff that we can't talk about just yet on the show, but thank you again for everything that you've helped me with. Even with the Anointed News Journal. And I've seen your stuff all over the city, actually. I'm like, I wonder who's the creator of that. And here we are, talking with it. It's just been absolutely amazing as well. So in the digital age, I know it's so hard to keep up with everything, especially like, they say that the newspapers really aren't doing so well and all the stigma that's behind that. What has kept you guys afloat during, the digital age when it comes to having a newspaper?
I think the main thing is there's still a huge population of old school people. So like I am one of those new digital age, tech wave. I love technology. But the bottom line is, there's senior citizens who want to go get their newspaper. There's also corporations that even have to sometimes advertise in the newspaper. They want to get all platforms, all ages. And then I think I think my dad has served so much in the city that he has all these relationships that are really just want to help, and want to be in the newspaper and want to be a part of something good that's going on. So I realized that, it may always, so as I've been pushing tech stuff in the Anointed News Journal, I've been seeing my dad's ways, and a lot of those ways are still working. I think what I've learned from the situation is combine the old school with the new school all the time. If you do that, you're literally fulfilling the whole market. So yeah.
100%, man. And I agree with that. And I kind of want to talk about something. I'm not sure if you're familiar. Are you familiar with ChatGPT?
I've been using it a little bit here and there. I've been using it lightly over the last couple months. So
I hear that. So what do you think about it? Do you think that it's a good tool, or do you think that it's something that, we probably shouldn't be using as a society?
I think I don't know how everybody else is using it, I don't know, but I think it's good. So yeah, I mean, you can always use something for bad reasons, but I think it's good. So, I've been able to use it here and there with certain things, and it's helped me, even whether it's even coming up with ideas. Now I haven't paid for the premium version yet to see what else it's capable of, but I think it's good because it's all about trying to be more efficient, and sometimes you need a tool to help you do something. Like, what you want to say, but you just need a tool to maybe help you how to say it. So I think ChatGPT is good.
100%, man. I agree. I've been dabbling and I've been using it too for, like you said, ideas or maybe some inspirations or do some things that you might not have known about because it is a great teacher. I mean, I've seen TikTok videos where people develop full blown businesses just from using the Chat GPT's guidance or intelligence, whatever you want to call it. So for the people that don't know what that is exactly, it's using artificial intelligence and it basically has a conversation with you and it knows a lot of stuff and whatever field you want to go in, and it just helps you with anything that you might need help with. So if you want to write a blog post, or if you want to learn how to start a business, or if you want to learn how to make a recipe book, whatever it is that you want to do, it knows how to do it because it gathers up all this information from different databases in order to help you with whatever project you got going on. But it's like you said, it depends on what you use it for. You can use it for bad or you can use it for good. And I know with the digital age nowadays, everything's going so quickly that it's hard to keep up with. But if you can use it to your advantage, I would definitely suggest it. And it's like Chris said, you don't have to pay for it immediately. You can use a free trial or however hours they give you to begin with. But if you want to start something and you don't know where to begin, I would definitely recommend just signing up real quick just to use it. I'm not getting paid to actually promote it or anything, but you just said the digital age, and it's really kind of been interesting to see how fast everything is growing. And they're not the only platform either. They have different ones out there. I know Jasper's one of them. So many different ones. But I just kind of wanted to get your opinion on it because I think it's kind of a scary thing nowadays, just to see how things have been progressing so quickly. You were around before when the internet, first came, because I was 96 and I was like kind of on the cusp of it. But how has been, technology? Yeah, how's it been for you? Do you have any any predictions on what's going to happen, or do you think it's only just going to?
Well, I was born in '89, so yeah. So you figure I have 7 years on you. I've been able to see so when we were using the dial-up internet at home. So yeah, when I think about technology, I'm thinking about Nintendo, Sega, going from the TV with the rabbit ears to slowly seeing where the TVs are now. The internet, so dial up AOL, where you had to wait and let it dial up to get on the computer. LimeWire, everybody download
malware, viruses.
So LimeWire, I remember having my time with that at 12 years, maybe 11, 12 years old. Then going to cassette tapes and CDs to now we're just streaming. So I've liked it because I've been a part of all of it. So where I see it going, I mean, I think more screen projection. At some point, I think our phones are going to be able to project onto the wall. Maybe already with my Samsung, I got the Fold, so it literally folds, bendable screen technology. So I'm already into as much high up as I can get to. I would like to see maybe flying cars as well. So to me, I'm all for it. It is scary, but I don't think it's that scary because everything happens so slowly that and then once it happens slowly, only a few people are using it, and then more and more. Same thing with electric cars right now and hybrids. More and more people are getting them slowly, So I think people are scared with AI to be. You don't want that movie with Will Smith, I, Robot. That would be scary. But I think as long as you're not letting it run everything, you'll always have the manual control to call on it when you need it.
100%, man. And I just think everybody just take it with a grain of salt too, because even with I know they have deep fakes and different things like that right now, and even just the scams and the bad stuff that they have going on with it. So if you're using that stuff, I encourage you to use it. Please don't ruin it for the rest of us. Use it for a positive note, and don't be ruining it for the rest of for everybody else as well. That's the I'm getting riled up talking about it. I said don't be, even though I know that's not proper English, but whatever, you know what I meant. So we're going to be talking about, you are a member or you're on the board for the Re-Win Foundation. And can you talk about what that is? And more importantly, why is it so important for you that you wanted to be a part of this organization?
Yeah, so the Rewin Foundation, it is a foundation to help promote awareness and support patients of TTP. And TTP, let me see if I can get it right, is thrombotic thrombocytopenic purpura. And basically what it is a rare blood disease. Blood clots, you get like bruises on yourself, things like that. And if you're not diagnosed within, I forget exactly what it is, but if you're not diagnosed properly early, you could die from it like within 24 hours. And unfortunately, we had a family member. Her name was Rashima Wynn, or Rewin. She died back in, I think, 2012, early 2012. She passed away from TTP. We didn't even know she had it. And so since then, my aunt decided to start a foundation, and then we rallied around her. And it's such a rare blood disease that there's not too many TTP organizations out there. We're actually the top TTP organization in the United States. That's how rare it is, and how much work we've been doing over the last decade now to be the number one in that. So, so we help support through blood drives, through raising money. We've been able to give University of Penn Hospital probably over $10,000 for research. So we've done all types of things to really support those living with it, because, once you get a disease, there's a whole bunch of things in life that change, and you need help and support.
Yeah, 100%. And thank you for all the great work that you're doing. I mean, I don't think I know anybody with TTP, but for the people that do have it and are struggling, and, for the family members as well, doing a lot of great work. What has been the what's been the hardest part about that, on sitting on the board for the Rewin Foundation?
Well, you just I think there's some pressure. Like, you want to keep the ideas flowing. You don't want to get stagnant and not grow as an organization. You want to keep the ideas flowing. You want to be able to attract new people, new members to your cause. A big thing that the president has been working on is getting grant dollars. And actually, we just closed, I think, a $50,000 grant, which we will be using to help people. It's called an emergency assistance fund. So anyone whose life has been affected by TTP, and now they can't get to the doctor's appointments, or now their bills are cut off, we're actually going to help them pay some of those bills, help provide lifts and Ubers and things to get them to their appointments. So the big thing has just been keeping the fresh ideas. I help run their social media is the main thing I do, but we all come up with ideas, and just stay consistent.
Yeah, and that's where ChatGPT comes into play. Now I'm messing with you. But yeah, that's so important, because it's like you said, the things that you never really think about, when it comes to something life-changing like that, like you said, such as lifts and Ubers. That's something that people need to do. And thank you so much for doing that as well. Because that's just things that people don't really know that they need to do. And when it happens, just to know that they have your support, and that's really the world for a lot of people too. So if somebody's watching right now and they want to help support, or they want to join the organization, where can they go, or what can they do to help?
Yeah, you can go to rewin.org, and that's REEWYNN.org. And from there, you'll see what's going on. There's also a donate button, also Rewin Foundation, Facebook, Instagram. So yeah, those are how you can help support with that. We have a year, and anybody can do it. Help. We have 2 major events a year. We have a bowling bash right in Pennsauken at Penn Setters on Maple Ave. We usually get about 200 to 300 people out. Buffet, prize giveaways, bowling for 2 hours. It's very fun. Then we have like a more classy luncheon at the end of the year in November. You get to come out, auction items, eat a good meal, listen. We have an award ceremony for people who are doing good in the community. So those are our 2 main events as well that we just encourage people to come out and have fun.
Man, that's awesome too. And what time of the year is this? Because I think I want to go to that just to support the organization, the foundation as well.
Yeah, and actually, Yeah, so usually it's November, like I think like a week or two before Thanksgiving. This year we may be trying like a food truck bash for the luncheon where we'll have like rent a park out and have multiple food trucks come and have a jazz concert. So we're trying some new ideas as well for our next luncheon.
Man, you're
But the
you're speaking my
bowling is in.
language. Man, you speak
Yeah.
my language. When it comes to food, I love it. I actually got to cut back a little bit because I've been going too crazy and going too ham. And summer's here, and I gotta relax with that a little bit. But like you said, let me know when that's available, just because I want to be able to support and help out with
Okay.
everything that I can
Yeah.
do, and even my positivity posse. So thank you so much for sharing that. And we only have a few minutes left on the show, but we always wrap up the show the same exact way every single time, and always with the same question. So here it is. Chris, if there's somebody that's watching right now that may be going through their deepest, darkest moments in their life, what information, advice would you have to give to these people in order to get them out of whatever rut they might be going through?
hmm I think well, I like what you said earlier about when it says when God closes one door, another one opens. There's also a scripture that says God opens doors that no man can shut, and God shuts doors that no man can open. So if something's really for you, there's nothing that anybody can do to take that away from you. And I would just encourage you to, once again, another cliche and fundamental is just not give up. Don't give up. Keep exploring options. Seek wise counsel. You don't. I can't tell you many times a sermon or a motivational video has helped me out. Getting a community around other like-minded individuals, because even when you don't have the willpower, they have it. They lift you up. So those would be my encouragements to get that spark back.
100%, man. And that's so important. Always keep great people around you that know that you are always going to uplift you and keep you in the right state of mind and not really let you slip off. Because I think we all know if you have friends that are not accountable and they're just like, oh, well, you'll feel better, or they start blowing you off and they're not really giving you tips or advice, those are not going to be the people that are going to take you to where you need to go and help you maintain everything that you need to do, whether it's your mental sanity or your physical health or whatever it is that you got going on that you want to get better at. That's so important. So thank you, Chris, so much for sharing that. Because when it comes to keeping the community of people around you, those are going to be like you said, the times where you're not feeling that great. Those are going to be the people that help you get through it. And when you go to accept your Grammy Award speech or the biggest accomplishment in your life, you're just going to look back to these people and say, "Man, I couldn't have done it without them." And just make sure that you're treating these same people with the same respect and encouragement that they deserve. Because I know a lot of people kind of complain nowadays about one-sided relationships where they say, "Oh, this person is always taken from me," whether that's energetically or monetarily or whatever the case may be. Just make sure that you're always giving what you want to give or what you want to receive as well. And I think that's so important. So thank you for dropping those golden nuggets. Chris, if somebody wanted to reach out to you or find you on social media, where can they go to find you?
Yeah, so on Instagram, it's at Christopher Collins II, which is the second. And then, yep, there it is. And then on Facebook, same thing, Christopher Collins II, just my name. And I'm on those two platforms. I post fairly often, but I'm always on there every day. I'm liking everybody's posts. And so my ears are definitely close to the streets on those.
Oh yeah, and then don't forget Christopher
Also,
Collins, your agency.
I was going to say, oh yeah, yep. That's what so Collins Digital Services. Once again, you can go on my social media to find that. So I have a website, but it's a Google Sites website, so I can't just say collinsdigitalservices.com. It's like sites.google.collins digital services. But anyway, if you can just reach out to me on social media, and from there with my digital services, I have photography, videography, website building, and social media marketing. And you can also get in our newspaper as well, Anointed News
There
Journal.
it is. I love it, man. So thank you so much for coming on. If you guys have any questions for Chris, please reach out to him. He'll be more than willing to help you out with whatever it is that you got going on. like you said, photography, videography, everything that you need for your digital business, he can definitely help you out with. And thank you so much, Chris, for coming on today, sharing your gold bars, and just really making sure that everybody gets the proper wisdom, right, on your shirt, and lessons and things that they need in order to take it to their life. And like you said, kind of tools in a sense too, that they can take into their own life to make sure that they're always going forward and they're always achieving their dreams and striving for greatness. For everybody else, thank you so much for being here on the Weekly Dose of Dano TV platform, for spending an hour of your time here with us, just to make sure that you're throwing your positive energy into us and into yourselves, into the higher beings, because we all know when we invest this energy into each other and the higher beings, we're just going to receive that tenfold. And thank you so much for being here. Come back next week, because we have a very special guest coming on next week as well. And maybe if everything goes right, I think Chris Collins, that they were going to have your dad come on to further the stories and further the great content and ideas and everything that you guys have going on, because you guys have been a great blessing to the Camden City community. Like you said, just with the newspapers alone, just shining a great light on it, because we know now more than ever that we need to spread this positivity and show and highlight and give our people a chance too in the Camden City community, the same opportunities and strategies or whatever it is that we need in our lives, to give us the same platform as well. So thank you so much for that. To my positivity posse, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe.
Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, and don't, like I said, we'll see you next week for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. 2 weeks, season 4 is coming out, so stay tuned. Have a great weekend. I love you guys. Stay safe. Peace.